Hi, you guys. How are you? I have not been on this account in so long, so I'm giving everyone an update. And this will probably be about an hour long live. I'm going to do my makeup and try to speak as articulately as possible. I am currently working full-time 7 out of 7 days of the week. I have an apartment, a little studio, and I bought a car. I have 3 older children, Viviana, Lewis, and Alexis, who you guys all know. For anyone who doesn't know me, I started my public career and public profile working in the sales of sexy content, many-vids, adult Twitter, Snapchat, things of that nature in 2015-16. And I was doing that because of pressure I felt in a relationship where my significant other was low-key trying to get me to work as an escort. And eventually he would have gone on to succeed. All of what I've gone through has been in front of the public eye as well as law enforcement. And I don't think I know anyone who's called the FBI as many times as I have. So, and none of those calls were for erroneous reasons or, dumb reasons. They were all for very, very real, scary shit. To bring you guys all up to speed, to catch you guys all up, I was being extorted by a member of law enforcement named David Shepard to participate in gathering evidence against Dylan and his friends. Mostly his friends. Dylan was in prison at the time and working on his own deals with the state. Because I was not under arrest and had no criminal ties, I was not offered a deal. I was just under duress, forced to do what they asked me to do, including stealing a laptop from Jordan Lott. I came downtown to Lake Street, right by the Thompson Center, and met with David Shepard and gave him the laptop. I was told he would steal my children with the assistance of DCFS if I did not comply, so I did. My kids stayed with me for 4 more years after that. As long as I was playing ball, we were safe. When Dylan came home in 2019, we always knew that I had absolutely no interest or desire to work in selling sexy content. And we planned to use the audience I had grown from the 5 years I spent consistently logging on, influencing, creating content in all areas, not just sexy content, so fitness, health, parenting, lifestyle, that we would transition into the fitness space together as a couple, Dylan and I, and that we would start our sup line, we would start our clothing line, we would do personal training, we would do free classes with group training. We had an entire plan. When Dylan came home, he was offered another deal to participate in a reality show called Love After Lockup. We reluctantly agreed. He wanted to do it, or appeared to me as if he wanted to do it. I didn't. I wanted nothing to do with it, and I was very, very reluctant and resistant. After my participation in that reality show, life got very scary, more than it had ever before, and I was already living in a state of complete fear 99% of the time. My relationship with Dylan was taking place on a recorded line through the state of Illinois. He was in the IDOC, and I was literally being manhandled systemically between him and the police. If I didn't do what Dylan said, I had to fear the police. And if I didn't do what the detective said, I had to fear DCFS. And I was just in between a rock and a hard place, no criminal record, no experience in dealing with crimes, no idea what to do. For the record, all of the lurkers and everything that they've ever done to me, I've forgiven them for. I got along with like 90% of them. Anyone who self-proclaimed a lurker or part of that group, I didn't have any drama with them. There were, I would say, maybe 10 out of 100 that I had issue with because either they robbed me or broke into my home or put some drugs in my beverages or cheated on me slept with my significant other knowing we were together, or raped me. I've forgiven all of them. like legitimately from a very, very, very genuine place in my heart, I've forgiven all of them. My kids are doing well, for the most part, despite all of the drama and adversity. Anyone who knows me knows my children have lived with me full-time their entire lives, from the moments of their birth all the way until 2020. Following my appearance in this reality show, I was unlawfully separated from my children, and I have been fighting for them back ever since. I have court-ordered custody, primary joint custody, but I don't have a home that's big enough for all of us to be together. If you guys have been following, I was literally forced to live in a tent the whole time I was pregnant with Weston, who's now 18 months old. I was denied shelter from the city of Chicago. I was denied shelter from, I say the city of Chicago, it's 311, which is like a hotline that you're supposed to be able to call if you're dealing with housing instability. And within 12 hours, they're supposed to come and pick you up and bring you to resource. They never did that for me, and I called 3 to 5 times a day my entire pregnancy and documented the entire journey thoroughly on the One Heather GEE account that was later taken offline by Instagram. I've received no justice in any of these cases. They just keep on burying and burying and burying. At 3 days old, I was separated from Weston, and I've been seeing him 3 to 4 times a week, every week since that time. I was ordered by the court not to disclose the names of the judges and state's attorneys who are involved in this case, nor am I to disclose any of the judicial decisions regarding this case because my son is a minor. And that's really all I can say. That case has been as corrupted as the rest of all of this. After Dylan and I did the show, I was bludgeoned by a man with a tire iron who said that Dylan and Marissa sent him. I was never contacted again by Dylan. Dylan and I were together for 5 years. I accepted every one of his calls from prison, 6 hours a day, paid for all of that, gave him a place to parole to, agreed to marry him, signed a prenuptial agreement that was $2,000 for his mother had to pay to draft it. Rebecca Sarnecki was the attorney on that case, on that prenup. When he came home, I was told that our house was wired for video and sound and that I was being thrown out rather than him, even though he was in violation of his parole. I don't know the details. I just know that I was thrown into the street and withheld housing, raped, robbed. Like, I'm not any of those things. I've never been any of those things. I don't know what else I can do when I've called the FBI. I've documented. It's 10 years later, after 2015. David Shepard lost his job for corruption, for extorting me with DCFS, saying if I didn't do everything he told me to do, DCFS was going to steal my children from me. Weston, I've completed all of what I'm supposed to do for DCFS. But the courts just keep on moving the court dates back farther and farther. The judge has told me twice that I'm not allowed to talk about the case on the internet. I explained that I was doing so for the purpose of raising advocacy, funding, support, awareness. She said then that I could speak about it on social media, but that I could specifically not include any of the action that's being discussed or names of the state's attorneys, judges, etc., and so forth. I've done every single service that these people have asked me to do. I work 7 out of 7 days of the week as an Uber driver. Xavier, my husband, the person who I've been place, is suffering tremendously from a mental health perspective. He's afraid to leave his stuff in one spot. He's scared that he's going to get thrown back outdoors. He doesn't know what to do. He's commonly telling me that he doesn't know if he should use drugs again, that when he was a teenager, he got sent to rehab for drug use in Hawaii, and that he has been feeling these feelings again. I don't use drugs, and neither does Xavier. Being trapped in a tent for 2 years, a little under 2 years, and then watching your son be separated from you is probably one of the most tragic things you could live through. It's just been absolutely terrifying. Following all of that, we expected that now that DCFS was involved, we were supposed to be receiving the assistance with the matter. We were supposed to be in front of a judge. I saw Judge Leviander Smith on this case, who said Weston would be returned within 48 hours, and that was in February of 2024. Then they switched judges, and the new judge doesn't even let me see him outside of a DCFS office. All of the things that they've done to me, rape, bludgeoning, stabbing, every time I bring them up in court for Weston, they say we're not here to discuss that, and called me a paranoid person. This is not, this live stream is not for entertainment. This is not for a movie script or ideas for Netflix. This is my real life as it is unfolding. I've held back in sharing live videos because the more I go live and the more I've updated people, number one, I get support, I get money. But number two, they have not then more inside information as to how to harm me. And that was my mistake with Dylan. I told him all of the reasons I had PTSD, and in order to get me to react in a PTSD reaction, he did all of those things that he knew caused me to have PTSD. This new group has been doing more of the same of that. I don't consent. I did write a pilot for a show called The Coco Show, where I'm the main character and Xavier is my counterpart. And it's a satirical kind of comedy making fun of all of the things that we've been through, because the things that we've been through are not funny. They're not funny at all. They're corrupt in the best description. They're corrupt. In the reality of it, if you're looking at it from my perspective as a mom, as a daughter, as a wife, it is terrifying, unlawful, unconstitutional actions with absolutely no accountability. Responsibility has been misplaced on the victim in the majority of these cases, and there have been no reasonable solutions presented. It is, and I want to go on the record as saying, it is unacceptable that a judge or anyone would hear a woman say, hey, representative of the state of Illinois, you think I'm paranoid because I said XYZ. Here's a doctor, a detective, and a state's attorney who were all involved in XYZ, witnesses to XYZ unfolding. They can all tell you that XYZ took place and that it's not me being paranoid. The state, the detectives, the witnesses, they all verify that what I'm saying is not paranoid jargon, but in fact an actual realistic recollection of the things that I've had to survive. And still to this day, there have been no changes made to anything that's gone on. No attention, no assistance, no justice, not a lawyer, not anything. I represent myself in this case, and I have a standby attorney who helps me with filing objections and motions. I'm actively seeking assistance from any and all other forms and avenues of law. I love my children more than I love myself. I would never in a million years harm my babies. I would never in a million years guarantee to any other lifestyle than being a mother. So if a rich person came up to me, a rich guy, and said, I want to take you away from this life. I'm going to get you a mansion and you know, you just have to leave everyone that you know and you can't bring your kids with, I would say no. And I would stay here in this hell because I don't have it ingrained in my DNA to abandon my children. I feel as though abandonment of a child or of an offspring is an animal-like behavior that most animals in 2025 have evolved out of. If you have a puppy and that puppy has children, a baby, puppies, and the puppies get given away, you can see, you can feel, you can hear distress in the mother puppy, in the mother dog. That's the evolution of society, and that's in an animal. If a dog would not be okay abandoning her puppies, I most certainly am not going to be okay abandoning my children. And the fact that I have to break it down to that for the audience, I'm not mad at you for spending $300 for shoes for your dog. I'm mad at you for knowing what's going on in the world apart from your dog, with my children, with her children, with his children, and feeling as though it's an appropriate expense to pay $300 for shoes for your dog and speak nothing, say nothing, fundraise nothing, advocate nothing for these real world situations that are unfolding. I think everyone should have $300 shoes, dogs or people or whomever. I'd love to have a pair of $3,000 shoes. You know, I'm not sitting here saying expensive stuff is bad or that the rich people are bad. I'm saying there are enough rich people in the world who can use their money and resources and power to make policy like dogs are allowed inside of Whole Foods or dogs are allowed inside of the mall. You could bring your dog to the hospital if you have an emotional support paper, but you can't pass some fucking legislation that prevents people from stealing my baby. You can't pass some legislation that forces people to take action on the people who have violently victimized me. You can't come up with some legislation that allows me to be in a situation where I'm not being emotionally abused each and every single morning. I think you can. I think you can do a lot better. You've, for some reason, surrounded me with people who are either too dumb, selfish, ghetto, unwilling, or clueless to take any sort of action with regards to this situation. People who know what's going on, who have known what's been going on for years, who have made a conscious decision to say nothing, to do nothing, and to close their eyes when they firsthand witness everything going on. A lot of those people work at the DCFS office now. It's really sick. It's really sad. My life consists of, ever since getting out of the tent, almost begging, rationalizing from a space of complete and total desperation for some sort of assistance in protecting my family and I. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. I feel like I'm their hostage. They asked me to do a number of services. Those services have been completed for a long time, and Weston had a go-home date of over a year ago, but he's still not home. I have called hundreds of family law groups. They all say we don't deal with DCFS cases. I have called numerous lawyers with regards to recovery for injury or accident. Each and every single time, I can't even get through to a lawyer. I can't even get past the receptionist. She says that these are not cases that her lawyers would be willing to accept. I finally got a consultation scheduled for this week. This week, I have my first consultation for all of this after calling. And when I tell you I've made probably close to 1,000 calls to various lawyers in the last 5 years over all of this, that would be a low estimate. It's probably been a lot higher than that. In addition, I've also created numerous online campaigns. I've explained over and over again that I do not consent, nor do I willingly choose to be a part of being manhandled systemically or having my children be harmed or be someone's victim so that I could, use my voice to model the way that they're harming me. The only model that I give myself permission to be is the one that does photo shoots and wears beautiful clothing. I'm not your demonstration dummy. They're doing a whole bunch of other really crooked shit, specifically with regards to taking people's ideas and real life circumstances and demonizing them. Do you guys know who Charlie Kirk is? Anyone familiar with Charlie Kirk? So Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, father of a 4 and a 1-year-old, was shot assassination style by a sniper at one of his talks at the University of Utah a few days ago. Charlie Kirk has the perspective that there are so many advocacy groups for the trans, gay, and queer community. Why are there no activist groups for people who believe in God and marriage and family and country? He was killed. I keep on finding in my own life these parallels to hatred, to the inability to accept people, places, and things for who and what they present themselves to be, and then mitigating evidence that shows that that was the right decision to begin with. I'm living in a world in 2025 that is scary. And then, like a light switch, everything goes back to normal and there are no issues anymore. And Weston is fine and he's on his way home and the big kids are doing great. And there's no reason for Heather to be upset. She has paranoid personality disorder with traces of narcissism. So I have been diagnosed formally with PTSD and ADHD since I was 17 years old. Coming home from Jamaica, they said I was fucked up. I'm 38 now. Paranoid personality disorder? What the fuck is that? Then I start doing research about it and it's rejected by the DSM. So it's not even a real accepted diagnosis. And the woman on the stand under oath gave her word that she would tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help her God, and proceeded to say that not even medication intervention will assist me with this diagnosis. So she gave me a death sentence, a life sentence. She said she can't say whether or not I can be a good parent with this diagnosis. She doesn't know. But that she doesn't think medicine will help me in any way. So it's been 10 years. I live in Chicago. I've been loyal to Chicago since I got here 20 years ago. Stimulating the economy whenever possible, bringing my kids down for staycations rather than flying somewhere else to give them my money, right? Paying high fucking taxes, getting 5-star hotel rooms, eating at fancy restaurants. Anytime I've had a little extra or known someone with a little extra, having them spend locally. Sharing the love and the wealth wherever and whenever I could. And this is where you left me. 2 years in a tent, proceeding on the heels of 2 years of housing instability where I had to come out of my pocket for almost 42 grand plus every dollar I was given by the reality show just to keep a roof over my head in Airbnb. One room in an Airbnb. My Cadillac CTS was stolen and sold at auto auction without my permission. I've called a lawyer named Dylan Hansen out of Valdosta, Georgia, 10 times. He says he's working on the case, that he can definitely recover me the funds, that he can file a civil lawsuit. Never calls me back. I call again. He says the same thing. Then it's, we got a hurricane. Georgia gets hurricanes? How the fuck does a non-coastal state get a hurricane? But okay, let me not be unreasonable or narcissistic, right? I don't know who's in charge here. I don't know what you expect me to do. What you would do if you were in my shoes is probably pretty similar to what I want to do and am doing in my own shoes. Unless you are physically preventing me from doing so, I will continue to seek justice. I'm working like a slave 7 out of 7 days a week, and literally all of my money is going to living. I'm not taking any vacations. I have no days off. I don't have a gym membership. I don't get to exercise. Sometimes I don't even have money for hygiene products. And I tell Xavier to go into the area hotels and ask them for shampoo and conditioner. When I get paid, I pay $1,035 a month for rent and the exact same $1,100 and I believe $35 for my car payment and car insurance, since I need passenger insurance every month. Whenever I can send some money to my children, I do. It hasn't been frequent enough. My mom was let go from her job 3 weeks after she got it because of all of this. Numerous jobs have refused to work with me because of the stalking. When I last worked as a bartender at my actual bar, people came in and recorded me and posted them to YouTube. They're up publicly. Other people came in with photos of my face printed onto stickers with QR codes that have direct links to the slander websites on Reddit talking shit about me. I've been stalked in person. I've been stalked online. I've gone to the FBI, local law enforcement, support groups, social services, the hospitals, you name it. And not a single person has even so much as proposed any sort of solution. They just like talk through me or over me or around me. They don't even include me in productive conversation about what is going on, has gone on, or how to fix it. As recently as today, I called a bunch of detectives again, trying to get more information as to why no one is working on this, any of this. And they just get mad and hostile and hang up on me and say that I should call back when I have more information. Me, the victim, that I should call them back with more information. You should just be able to enter my name into a database, and every single thing that has been done to me in the last 10 years, all of the corruption, all of the physical abuse, everything should be right there at your fingertips. If you are a cop in this state, in this city, you should be able to pull up my name and find every single allegation I've made of corruption, of rape, of robbery. It should all be there. I should not have to go gather dates and times that I've been victimized to give to someone else who gets a paycheck to solve crimes like this. At worst, you should speak to me nicely and say I don't have enough information, or for some reason your information is not populating, or anything. But they don't. So I stopped calling for a few weeks at a time, and I let it breathe, and then I start again. And I'm tired, and I'm annoyed, and I'm irritated, and this is not the life that I signed up for. I miss my children more than I've ever missed another living soul in this entire life. I only, speak to them on FaceTime and go over there to drop them off food. My life has changed so dramatically. It's not even funny, and not for the better. And they reward the people who have victimized me. I mean, they gave the woman that Dylan cheated on me with a job making $700 a shift doing bottle service in the West Loop. They follow me around and stalk me and stole my baby and make me go to DCFS for 2-hour visits 3 times a week. That's the fucking highlight of my social life. Like, it's not making sense to me. They're stealing funding from me and the people who advocate for me so that they can set up traps in the West Loop. Why? I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. I've not consented to be a part of any sort of weird social experimentation. I just want my children and my independence. I want to be in a space where I can stand up on my own feet and have a couple $1,000s or more in the bank for an emergency, and where I don't have to worry about being robbed. Edgar from PNC Franklin Park, Colin from PNC Mortgage Lakeview, Maria from PNC Lakeview, Jonathan from PNC Franklin Park, and many others. Oscar from Wintrust Elmhurst. Where the fuck are you guys? You guys are watching while fraud comes in and out of my bank accounts, and I haven't been able to reach any of you by phone despite my numerous voicemails in weeks. And when I do finally reach you, everyone says the same thing. They're more than happy to help attempt to file another dispute. But then it stops at them. Maria, Edgar, Jonathan, Oscar, Colin, all they can do is say that they're trying to work on the situation and then say that they'll do it again and again and again. There has to be some sort of answer, some responsiveness other than we robbed you, fuck you. My money is protected by the FDIC, right? Or am I missing something? Did we go in 2025 to a space of time where human beings don't have constitutional rights or human rights anymore, and anyone can go into someone's bank account and steal from them, underdraft them $900? I told the bank, you don't allow me to underdraft 1 penny. If I go to buy a pack of gum and the gum costs $2.34, but I only have $2.30, you will decline that transaction. But I go to sleep at night and wake up to negative $922 out of my account, and no one can explain it. No one knows. And I'm supposed to just keep accepting that. What? Just keep opening new bank accounts? My kids have only got to sit in the same room as their brother Weston one time. One time. He's 18 months old. Vacations, luxurious ways of life. I could tell you in the last 5 years, I tried to go see a movie maybe about 6 months ago. That's the last attempt at having a social life that I tried. And I was so anxious the entire fucking time that someone was targeting me and trying to steal my car, which at the time was a leased vehicle, that I could not even free my mind to sit there and watch a movie. I ran out of the movie theater halfway through and went and stood next to my car. And these are not paranoid behaviors. These are the result of being abused over and over again by all of these parties. They stole my Cadillac CTS. They put me on a payment plan with someone named Charles Bonini, as well as the city of Chicago, and took $800 to cover a boot, all in 3 weeks. Those tickets were paid. Someone paid those tickets for me. And my grandma, the Mama Nelly, gave me $800 to remove the boot. In 2020, in 2021, another set of people paid all of that off. And it seems like now that all of that's gone and done and paid off, they're starting it again. Today they gave me a ticket for $250, claiming that I was parked on the bike path. I parked in the exact same spot I've parked for the last 7 months in front of my house. And I paid to park on the City of Chicago Pay to Park app. $250 ticket. So what it feels like to me, what it seems like to me, what it really is to me from where I sit is a bunch of people with intention, malice, and premeditation reenacting a number, if not all of the ways that I've been violently or non-violently victimized in the last 10 years. And I don't consent. So that's the update. Just have not spoken to Dylan once, not a single time since 2020. Not once. Don't know where he is, don't know what he's doing, have no relationship with him at all whatsoever, have not since that time. And Dylan and I didn't break up or have any sort of adversity. He came out of prison and turned into a literal fucking psychopath. I call him an evil robot. Doing nitrous oxide and other drugs and beating the fuck out of me is not in Dylan's character. We spent a long time together. That's not how he was with me. If he was that way with someone else, he wasn't that way with me. And it's fucked up because they're doing similar things. Very, very parallel type shit behaviors with Xavier and him. And it's inconsistent at best, as I said. I have video of Xavier from the last 5 years. He treats me like a fucking princess. He's in shape. He, baby, sit down. Let me handle this. Let me help you with this. Let me do this. Let me do that. It's just so fucked in every way that you look at it. just completely fucked. So I just spent another day attempting to contact law enforcement, FBI, and attorneys with regards to this case. The exact same calls I've been making since I was emailing nonstop with James Cleese about all of this. All of the emails started bouncing back about a year ago saying he was retired and that his email box was no longer in use. When I called to see who would be taking over, they said there's no one taking over, and what's my report number? So, for the record, I have reports in Lake County when I was staying at the gated community in Barrington. Someone broke in and fucked up my car, the Cadillac. I have a police report from that day, and I have police reports from many, many other days all along the road. There has been no one who directly contacts me and says we're going to connect all of this together and investigate it as a whole. No one has done anything. So I'm about to start work. Everything is the exact same. All I do is work and be with my kids as much as possible. I don't consent to any of the things that they've done to me, any of the ways they've used me unlawfully, unethically, immorally. I don't consent to any of that. I didn't consent at the time. I don't consent now. My identity being stolen, any bank accounts in my name, any accounts at all, period. The only accounts that I have, me, Heather Gillespie, are the ones that you'll see on my phone if you're here. So for anyone suspecting me of doing anything immoral or nefarious, not yet. But I can tell you that I'm most certainly feeling incredibly resentful, and that I'm absolutely struggling right now to trust and to feel like these people who claim to be in my corner are actually in my corner. What it feels like is that they're using me, my son, my children, my situation, and exploiting us for money and leverage. That's what it seems like for me, and I've maintained that the entire time. So if you're a sponsor and a supporter, I have a new Instagram page, not because I rebranded myself, but because they closed my page. Instagram closed the One Heather GEE page that was literally daily updates of me from the tent begging for help and sharing in almost like a criminal way. Not criminal way, a criminal like reporting way, giving daily updates. Okay, this is what happened this day. This is what happened today. This is what happened today. So-and-so did this. I called this person. I called that person. A literal play-by-play of everything that I was doing. And I would be really grateful if we could subpoena that account. But I started another account after that. It's Good Trouble Chicago. And I have another account besides this HLG Forever _ account. I try to hide this account whenever possible. I feel like this is the only real like connection I have to people who were following from the One Heather GEE or the Coco Chanel YSL days. I haven't sold content or worked in the sexy environment since 2019. It's 2025. Please stop calling me those names. And then I guess that after 5 years of trying to get a consultation and finally getting one, I can say I feel a little hopeful, but I also feel always like the odd man out. I feel like they're using these people for their little missions or their little quests or their little like side missions, and that they don't want me to know, and I'm always like being used is what it feels like, without my permission or consent or without my willingness. But I guess I'll update you guys after the consultation. I'm trying to feel hopeful about it, but every person who I've spoken with about what's going on is equally disgusted and grossed out by the way I've been treated and by the blatant ways that they've just violated my rights as a human being, as a United States citizen, just in general. But then they never have any like recommendation of what to do from here. They never have any solutions that they present or like any advice. So I'm going to finish my makeup and check on my kids and then get started on my work. I don't consent to being followed. I'm alone with Xavier. I don't have a team here that I would authorize to be around me physically. I have reached out for sponsors and support online. If someone knows me from online and wants to support me in person, that would be a conversation. That wouldn't just be that they'd be following me around with their car or, harassing me. I don't consent. I'd like to press charges against everyone involved if that's the only way to make it stop. Anyone slandering me, Instagram, Google, YouTube, to invest into figuring out, how to make this stop. There's definitely liability, and there's a huge, tremendous amount of responsibility that these platforms definitely have by regulation of the United States government to keep these environments safe, and they have not been safe for me as an adult woman. I cannot imagine if they've been safe for a child, because I can barely dodge all of these bullets that they're shooting at me for long enough to turn back and say, is everyone behind me okay? But you guys have a nice day, and don't give up on this. This case needs to be followed through on. It needs to be heard. Our country is fucking crumbling. All of our youth is sucking dick and fucking for money. No one is interested in a career path anymore if they ever were. It truly makes me feel like either I've been incredibly sheltered my entire life or the entire society has been sexualized. These women will do the most for the least, and it's fucking sick. And the women who don't want anything to do with it are then being forced or human trafficked or, made homeless and then raped. It's disgusting. And I will maintain until the day I die that the way that I have been treated over these last 5 years is unlawful, unethical, immoral, and definitely deserving of some sort of justice. So